SEAblings ready to go war with Korea!
We are not attacking, we are defending our countries. Our Asian day we stand. No Korea!
We apologize to Southeast Asia.
Sorry Southeast Asia. Sorry Malaysians and Indonesians.
We support SEAblings!
We support SEAblings. Sorry to all Chinese. Sorry SEAblings.
Boycott K-Korea! Our dignity is not for sale. Stand with SEAblings!
There's too many of them!
SEAbling bersatu.
야, 디펜! 우리 계정에 댓글 달았어!
왜? 부러워?
우리 같은 친구가 없어!
그치? 아니면 우리 같이 유명하지 않아?
그치? 촌스럽네. 촌놈.
우리의 스타일을 따라할 수 있지. 근데 뛰어나지 마.
바보인걸.
멍청인걸.
촌스러운걸.
그리고 촌놈인걸.
제발 좀 해변!
오빠, 여기서 우리 데리러 오실 거죠? 오빠, 고마워요. 오빠가 정말 너무 보고 싶어요. 내 전화야, 뭉쳐와.
욱 오빠. 아이, 나 보고 싶대. 욱은 벌써 재혼했어. 내가 데리러 갈게.
난 너희들을 두려워하지 않아. 나에게는 일본인과 중국인 친척들이 있거든. 我没有像他那样的兄弟，我也不认识他。我那个日本朋友也不认识他，所以请你揍他一顿。 내가 그를 이겼어. 그는 내 형제도 아니야.
자, 어디 편? How are you these days?
팬들이 다 차단해주죠?
I'm glad to
네.
hear as
아, 만들어서 보냈어요?
네, 그 댓글에 막 이렇게.
팬들이 다 차단해주죠?
I'm glad to
네.
hear as
아, 만들어서 보냈어요? 아, 만들어서 보냈어요?
네, 그 댓글에 막 이렇게.
Kita tak boleh stres. Kita tak boleh stres. Kita tak boleh stres. Nanti muka kita berkedut. Okay? So tarik nafas. Hembus. Tarik nafas. Hembus. Okay? Don't.
Tell me where you at, hey. Cotton candy, baby, no, pretty.
ノーコリアン、ノープラスティック、ね、ノーメタル、ノーシリコン、ノーサイボーグ、ノーフィルター、ナチュラル、マッスル、ボーン、ジャパニーズ。黙りやって感じ。コートミが怒ってる。もう日本のコメント流れんじゃねえか、おめえらよ、ほんとよ。おい。ドラえもん、ヘルプミー、ドラえもん。
そうだよね。みんな私が英語できませんって言ってもみんな英語でコメントするよ。困るよ私。藤代さんが言ってマジでよかったって思うよ。apa mencekan?もうテロやめて。
でも分かってたからね、なんだ。兄さん、本当大物可愛いこの二人。ありがとう。ありがとう、兄さん。俺もなんだ。めちゃくちゃ嬉しいよ。184人もいるよ。すごい。ジャパニーズです。エビワン、ジャパニーズ。何事も誠実に、ジャパン。実を持った行動をしようっていうことですね。そういうことです、みさん。誠実に感謝を忘れず、彼女さん、彼氏さんいる方は、そのパートナーに感謝を忘れず、今後、やっていってほしいと思います。今後の人生、歩んでほしいです。僕たちもこうやって見てくれてる方には本当感謝しかないですし、コメントしてくれる方にはもっと感謝しかないです。お二人それぞれ何て呼んだらいいですか、兄さん。みおです。僕はりょうまって言います。覚えてください。My name is みおand りょうま。
I love Korean please! No, ダメわからない。
Okay, I'm Japanese. Okay. Okay. 日本ラブ、Japan love.
So I'm not really on X, but enough people were asking me to weigh in on this online feud between the Southeast Asians and the Koreans. I had to Google it because I had no idea what was going on. And this article gave me the best rundown. Apparently, this heated online beef started with a K-pop concert in Malaysia. So it was K-pop group Day 6's concert in Malaysia. At this particular venue, the organizers of the concert and the venue itself was very explicit in telling concert goers that no camera or video equipment was going to be allowed at the event. But Korean fans who run fan sites had snuck in large professional camera and lenses to the venue to take photos of the event. And the Malaysian fans decided to go online and blast the Korean fans who run these fan sites, one even showing a video with their face. The Koreans took big offense to that. She already apologized. You know, for Koreans, it's a big no-no to post photos of people online. But that's, of course, the law and culture in Korea. I don't think Malaysia has the same sensitivity about photographing people out in public. But then Koreans started to take it further. If you're going to like Korean singers, at least try to respect Korean culture, or else stop consuming fan site photos on your timeline. Is this a trade of foreign beep? That's disgusting. Then the Malaysian fans were like, bitch, please. Foreign fans helped propel the popularity of K-pop in the region through streams and merchandise purchases. But the clapbacks from Southeast Asia are really hitting. Someone said, we can't criticize God's creation, but we can criticize the doctor's creations. This one's dark. Someone said, at least our bridges aren't for jumping, referencing Korea carries one of the highest suicide rates. And someone said, don't jump in the ocean, you'll cause plastic pollution. But you know what? I'm all for it. My people need to get humbled, specifically on their disrespect towards Southeast Asians. And I can say that because one of the reasons of many that I am in no contact with my Korean side of the family is because of the racism and disrespect they showed towards my Filipino husband. One of the earliest things my stepmom said to me, that woman doesn't even like me. When we are on decent terms, I had mentioned to her that me and my husband got into a little fight. She jumped in and was like, how dare he start shit with you? He's third world. Doesn't he know he married up? Now this woman trashes me on the regular. But the thought of a Filipino taking a fight with a Korean wasn't about taking a side with me because I'm her daughter. It was just her racism. She thinks Filipinos are low-tiered Asians. Her national pride is what got her worked up. The Koreans are the embodiment of hurt people hurt people. We have a deeply rooted inferiority complex because we were colonized by the Japanese and the Chinese. You would think that kind of history would make us relate more to the Southeast Asians. We should know better than anyone what it is to be disrespected from people who you believe to be your people. But instead, we want people beneath us. Say, we've leveled up. We're top-tier Asians now with the Chinese and the Japanese. And that's on internalized racism. Anyways, yes, we deserve to be clowned on for this atrocious atrocious behavior. This is also why I have more Filipino fans, because usually my own people don't like me.
What is going on? This is mind-blowing. Because I'm Korean, okay? I'm Korean, but I grew up in California. So in high school, I was the only Korean girl, and there were 4 Korean boys, and that was it. And in elementary school and middle school, no one even knew what Korea was. They didn't know it was a country. When I pointed out on the map, they're like, that small country? Do you guys even have a computer? That's what they said. So for me, seeing how Korean people, those young Korean people acting on Twitter, it's outrageous and just mind-blowing to me. What? Because when I was in high school, this is what I looked like without any plastic surgery. I still don't have any plastic surgery, but this is what I looked like, bam. So me going through, what is Korea? Is that Japan? What is Korea? Do you guys even have a computer? To this? I mean, either way, both are not good because I felt so small growing up in America because no one knew where I was from. No one knew Korea. They kind of looked down on me. And now that K-pop and K-drama is so big, now Korean people are being cocky. This is like black people being racist. That always blows my mind. When black people discriminate, when black people are racist, it's like, how are you racist? I know that you didn't live in that historical time, but didn't you learn? Didn't you have a history education? And now seeing Korean people acting cocky when no one knew who we were a few years back? No. I don't understand how a Korean people are calling Southeast Asian girls ugly. That is mind-blowing because they were the most beautiful girls that I grew up with that I wanted to be like. That gorgeous, beautiful skin, your eyes, the nose, everything about them was so voluptuous. You know, the K-pop stars, yes, they did it. But Korean men need to realize that they're not them. Yes, Southeast Asian girls like Korean guys who are on stage, who knows what's up. Please take me out of it. I'm 100% Korean, but take me out of this, please.
Let's go over my favorite insults from the SEAbling versus South Korea drama because let me tell y'all, the South Asians, they cooked South Koreans. Number 1 has to be them calling us microplastics. And this is why I can never get plastic surgery because being called a microplastic, I'm never coming back from that. And in tandem with that, them saying that Korean bodies are basically considered hazardous waste because if you put our bodies in the sea, it's 98% silicone. I'm seared, I'm roasted, I'm burnt, my bones charred, incinerated. My last favorite one has to be, of course Koreans don't have pimples. Pimples don't grow on plastic. It healed me. It healed the 12-year-old me that got told to get plastic surgery constantly whenever I went back to Korea. Honestly, an embarrassing day to be South Korean.
Okay, so the whole Southeast Asian countries against South Korea right now. So I looked up some videos to see what all the rage was about. And it's Knetz. So people who were born and raised in Korea and still live there and was born and raised in that society, Knetz, brought in like DSLR cameras into a Day 6 concert. Instead of apologizing for it, they went ahead and started attacking cyberbullying, which is like second nature to them. Southeast Asian countries online. And so, of course, all the Southeast Asian countries as a collective came together to all fight against South Korea. And honestly, they deserve that. Because I'm tired of Knet's behavior. They're so stuck up, entitled, and rude.
Us Koreans, we are insanely insufferable. Insufferable! I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know where, but we have this weird godlike superiority complex thinking that we are above everybody else and our shit don't stink. Newsflash! It does! It does! And honestly, I'm all for the Southeast Asians ripping us Koreans apart because we need to be humbled. We need to be brought back down to earth. Because I don't know where this weird godlike superiority complex came from thinking that we are above everybody else. Hello? We are not. Like, the fact that Korean people look down upon, like, Southeast Asians, it's, like, I've never understood it. Well, I do understand it. But, like, we need to be humbled. I'm okay with them ripping us apart because, honestly, it needs to be done. We need to be brought back down. And it's not just Koreans in Korea. Like, Koreans as a whole, no matter where the hell we are in this world, we need to be humbled. Because unfortunately, just because they live in Korea does not mean that does not transcend to Koreans in other countries. Unfortunately, this is a generational issue, okay? It is a generational issue. And unfortunately, as someone who has grown up in this culture, is a Korean people are the ones who have traumatized me the most. My own people have traumatized me the most. That's why I don't like being around Korean people a lot. Sometimes I don't even like my own people. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Sometimes I am very wary of being around Korean people because those people have traumatized me the most. The most. I've gotten so much trauma from them. But not only that, Korean people care way too much about what other people think about them. That's why they care and they hang on very tightly to looks and materialistic things. And that's why Korean people and Korean society is the way that they are. Because they care way too much about what other people think. And they have no problem bringing other people down to make themselves feel better. And that is the problem with Korean people and with Korean society. They care way too much about what other people think about them, and they care way too much about what they look like. That's why they're all fucking miserable. Okay? I don't know if a lot of people know this, but most of the Koreans in Korea, they're fucking broke. These people are in debt. Okay? These people spend so much money to look a certain way, to look as if they're rich, they have money. They don't got money. Guys, they're broke. Also, Korean people happen to be one of the biggest scammers on the planet. All right? You know how many people in Korea get scammed? Jeonse, it's like a deposit that you pay to, for a living situation. You know how many people in Korea get scammed every year from that Jeonse? Because they're paying for a deposit to live somewhere, and then these people just end up scamming them out of money, and there's nothing you can do? Korean people, listen, okay? These people care way too much about what they look like and materialistic things. They will act like they bought the new Louis Vuitton purse. They bought all of these things. They care way too much about that instead of their own happiness and be, living that they're broke. These people are all in debt, okay? And I hate that Korean people try to have this, idea of them that they're all rich, that they have money. Newsflash, no, a lot of us are broke. And unfortunately, a lot of this has to do with the fact that the U.S. has backed us. We wouldn't be in this position today without the U.S., okay? Without U.S. imperialism, Korea would not be in the place that they are right now, okay? They would not have risen to the top without the help and backing of the US and the West. So for Korean people to act like their shit don't stink, funny, because not that long ago we were also dirt poor and we were dirty. That's what they thought of us back then. So that I'm happy that we're getting ripped apart.
As a Korean American, I don't have much else to add to the SEAbling versus Knetz conversation that's been going on the past week, except to say I stand with the SEAblings. Most definitely. Because I've talked at length about the exploitation of Southeast Asian countries by South Korea, both in wartime, specifically the Vietnam War, and also currently, as goes on in the Philippines specifically and Vietnam. Those are two major countries that are continuously exploited by South Koreans, both for tourism and business and people as well. So much trafficking of women from Vietnam and the Philippines and to some extent Thailand as well. And we don't talk enough about that as a society, and not even in the Korean diaspora. It's a very taboo topic for some reason. There is so much colorism I've already talked about in many, many previous videos, and xenophobia. And this general looking down on Southeast Asians by South Koreans, as well as Koreans in the diaspora. A lot of that attitude and weirdness carries over, and we don't talk about it enough. And this exploitation, like I said, is on multiple different levels, not just with tourism, but taking their money. And I think it's really weird that there's a stadium in Seoul that was gifted to us by the Philippines when the Philippines was doing very well economically. And I don't see us doing that for any Southeast Asian country. And I say it's weird because why aren't we reciprocating in the same way that we've been shown? I find that very weird. I find that very bizarre. I don't think that's okay. So yeah, that is my opinion on this whole SEAbling versus Knetz situation. If there is a Southeast Asian country criticizing South Korea, most likely they're absolutely correct in their criticisms. And yes, I understand this happened in Malaysia, but again, my point still stands. If there is a Southeast Asian country that is criticizing Korea, most likely, yes, their criticism is valid. Their criticism is going to be correct. And I know also a lot of Koreans in the diaspora are not very happy when I post up videos like this. Why are you criticizing Korea as a Korean American? I do it out of love. This is my nationalism. I criticize in the hopes that it will be better in the future. I want to see it get better. I want to see us do better. I want to see us having these conversations openly and not it being taboo. I mean, even recently, a mayor in Jeollanam-do said some nonsense about importing brides, etc., from Southeast Asian countries in 2026, and I don't think that's okay at all. That is, unfortunately, also a very South Korean man thing to say. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's just a few people. No, it's a very prevalent attitude in South Korea, the colorism and the xenophobia. I have experienced that othering as well as a Korean American, so I cannot fathom the levels that South Koreans treat folks who do not look like me, who look like Southeast Asians. So yeah, that is the unfortunate fact. I know a lot of people romanticize South Korea, and I'm also not really here for it. I don't think the popularity of Korean culture has done good things for the general mental health of the diaspora or South Koreans in South Korea. There's a lot of arrogance that has come to the fore that I don't really like, when we should really be having discussions more about our issues like this.
When I go to South Korea, they'll call me fat to my fucking face. They'll be like, she has the fat genes. And I understand I don't have a body type that a lot of East Asian women have. But I never once felt like, because I had the blessing of growing up here, I never saw that as a negative. My brother, he used to be a lot darker when he played sports and he was outside a lot, not so much anymore. But before we go to Korea, he's always like, oh, like, should I have stayed out in the sun? He's like, God damn it, like, I just went on vacation. I'm so tan right now. Should I have worn more sunscreen? And I think that's sad. But is that something that he takes like offense to? Not at all. You know, again, we were so blessed to grow up in a diverse area, not in a rural area in the United States, one of the most diverse areas in the country, where people are more open-minded, inclusive, and we just didn't grow up like that. I am sorry to the Southeast Asians that received just like, what the fuck, hate from South Korean netizens. That's so wrong. And yeah, when I first saw Southeast Asians creating videos about it, I was like, that's so fair. When I saw Southeast Asian American creators talking about this issue, I was like, that's fair. I too have experienced that from my own people, just due to the features that I have. I just need to say this, as I've gotten older, and because I have the perspective that I have from growing up in the United States, I just kind of realized that South Korea is a victim of its own success, where they try to recorrect itself so harshly after being oppressed, you know, being a war-torn country. And the country itself has progressed so fast, and the standards and the expectations that have been set, its own people can't keep up with it. And I think I'm saying all this to say, like, we think the Korean population is declining because of the 4B movement, but that's not true. That's only a very small subset of people in South Korea. The truth is, the living conditions in South Korea are so fucking harsh and so fucking oppressive that people can't have kids. People don't want to have kids. And it's fucked up. And I'm not shocked that the same rhetoric that our people suffer from, okay, the features and all the colorism that we oppress ourselves with, that they spread that hate to other people, that doesn't shock me. Then I saw a non-Southeast Asian creator take this opportunity to make a sweeping generalization about all South Koreans. And I'm saying this as a South Korean American, also acknowledging the fucked up shit that happens in South Korea and how I have faced their judgment, their nastiness as well. But I saw that person kind of take that as an opportunity to attack South Korean creators. And I was like, okay, like, how does this correlate? But I left it at that, and I was like, I still don't want to get involved. Like, this is this is a repeat of fucking HMAR over and over and over again, where people take important discussions and topics and dilute it as an opportunity for what? To spread personal agendas, personal hate? Anyway, wasn't going to say anything, but woke up to 3 Asian creators, just random 3 Asian creators, talking about an experience that they had when they went live and what's happening in their comment section with them getting just racist fucking comments, okay? And people are trying to tell them, like, hey, I think this is a result of what's happening with the South Korean netizen versus Southeast Asian discussion that's happening right now, just so you know. And they're like, we weren't aware. And by the way, I'm Chinese. So again, I'm with Southeast Asians because I know colorism and featureism affects us all. And for it to come from, like, South Korean netizens just being so fucking nasty, I am genuinely so sorry. And I am also sorry to these like random East Asian American creators that are getting hate as a result of it. It is so nasty. And I
just want to say, I literally made a video a couple months ago talking about how racist Korean people are, but especially towards Southeast Asian. So not gonna lie, when I first started seeing this discourse starting to unravel itself on Twitter, like I was not surprised at all. I also think a lot of the criticisms that were brought up about Korea are very valid, and a lot of Korean people would agree. But it's always something about online discourse, especially when it comes to topics of racism or like these diaspora wars, that just end up creating a space for people to fuel more racism. And inevitably, people will start losing the plot entirely, because now I'm seeing just as horrendously racist remarks being thrown at Korean people too. Now I'm literally seeing videos of Korean people saying that they're siding with their Southeast Asian homies, but their comment section is just a bunch of racist shit being thrown at them just because they're Korean, even though they literally said that they're siding with the Southeast Asian people. And there's also random Korean creators who just like have no idea what's fucking going on, and they're literally getting harassed online with racist comments. I even saw a Chinese American couple saying that they were getting harassed with racist comments, and I literally went to the comment section of their video. It was horrendous, and they're not even fucking Korean. But even if they were Korean, like it wouldn't be justified at all, because why the fuck are people like randomly harassing these random East Asian people? So now both sides are just going back and forth spewing racist shit. So like now what? Like now what? Now both sides are wrong, and people have just created a huge space for people to spew racist shit back and forth on both sides. And I'm seeing in some of these comment sections like, well, the Korean people started it first, and like I don't know if some of you have passed the 5th grade, but when has that ever been like a logical defense, especially for something as serious as racism? And this is not to excuse the racist shit that Korean people were spewing either, because honestly the conversations that were happening in the beginning with like valid criticisms of Korean culture and everything, like it was real as fuck, and some of it was funny, haha, because now people are joking about Korea's suicide rates, or like talking about the war crimes being done onto Korea, which by the way, a lot of those war crimes were also being done in Southeast Asia. It's just like such a weird diss to be throwing on either side. Now both sides are like genuinely looking like some MAGA shit, like making fun of the fact that most Korean people don't speak English, or like making fun of how the alphabet looks. Like that's literally MAGA shit. Like at first I was also very much on the Southeast Asian side, because the racism that East Asians perpetuate onto Southeast Asians is real as fuck. But now it's genuinely just become a cesspool of people wanting to be racist towards each other. So like we need to wrap it up.
Let me just start with the funny. But for real, this all started because Korean people could not be respectful while in Malaysia. I'm not excusing their behavior, but I'm sure what played into it is that they thought they could get away with it because they're Korean and they're at a K-pop concert. Therefore, they felt entitled to carry on how they saw fit. But Koreans, my people, also hate when people act a fool in our home country. I mean, I made the whole Emily in Korea series because this white girl was in Korea being so disrespectful to the culture and to the people in an attempt to make a name for herself using Korea as a backdrop. So Koreans know better than anyone. You're guesting in my country, be respectful. For me personally, that's why this is even more disappointing as a Korean person. And whenever I talk about Korea critically as a Korean person, I will get a Korean who wants to lecture me on how to be Korean. 언니 이러지 마세요 진짜. 한국 문제 많아요 알아요. 근데 외국 사람이 우리나라 욕하면 기분 안 좋아요. Here's an English translation that TikTok did decently accurate. And this is what I mean by my own people don't like me. They don't follow me, but they only write to me when they want to lecture me on how to be a better Korean. And this is the frequent message I get from my fellow Koreans. Don't talk about our problems, keep it in-house. We don't need outsiders/foreigners criticizing us. This is an in-house problem. And that's also very Asian culture coded, right? But here's the thing, my fellow Koreans. Korea has commercialized and capitalized on all things Korean, from K-pop to K-dramas to Korean food. And you enjoy that glory and commodification. And you're proud, you love the success of it. You're eating the shit up. But you can't in that same breath say, I don't want the bad and the ugly that comes with it too. The door is now open to everyone, especially when you behave poorly in another country that you deem inferior. Because I know my fellow Koreans wouldn't be putting up this much of a fight if this had happened in the States or Europe or even in Japan or China. There is a pattern to Korean people behaving badly in Southeast Asian countries. And listen, I've never been a fan of keeping the problems in-house. Everybody thought that my Korean stepmom was my savior. But behind closed doors, she was beating the life out of me. I'm never gonna protect Korean toxicity. Not in my house and not anywhere else when I see it. 나 네 언니 아니야. 다른 언니 찾아.